What's up everyone, King Narukami here. Thank you all so much for joining the video today, and for this topic, we have, well, something a little out of the blue. Now, you've probably all heard about this new Persona 5 game that's releasing, Persona 5 The Phantom X. Developed by Perfect World Games, this is a spin-off of Persona 5, which really sounds great on paper, and I'm all for some more P5 in my life, don't get me wrong. However, I'm still a bit skeptical about how this game will turn out. If you don't know already, this is a mobile game with gacha mechanics, which can be good for some and bad for others. Today, I'm going to discuss how much I fucking hate mobile gacha games and what a useless piece of
Okay. Cut the crap 1 second. It's only a mobile game thing. I have reasons to believe this game could be good, okay? And I think you shouldn't dismiss it only because it's a mobile game.
Who the fuck invited this guy to the video? Why'd you show up onto my video just uninvited, David? I'll just go and play along with you. That doesn't help the fact that I'm not into gacha games, and it's probably not worth my fucking time. So you could just fuck off with all this shit.
I know it's hard to change your mind when you're set on something, but I think we should make like a list of what looks good and what doesn't look good with this upcoming release from Perfect World Games.
You know what? I'm going to be the bigger person here and hear you out. Let's make a list of good and bad of Persona 5X. I'll show you why I'm really skeptical about this game. Sit back, relax, let's get it on. The first good thing I can think about with Persona 5 The Phantom X is that Atlus and Soejima are directly involved with the project, albeit in a small matter, but they are still involved. On March 22nd, 2023, there was an article published thanks to Persona Central. It was an interview with Wada, the producer and creative director behind the Persona team, and Wada has said that he has been in contact with these Chinese developers, Perfect World Games, and they have been building the story and everything. Now, how much Atlus is involved in the decision making, Wada has say in it and everything, from what I understand. And Wada has confirmed that Soejima is also the creative artist behind the Persona series, the iconic artwork that you've seen, is behind the creation of the protagonists and their persona. So we know for a fact that Atlus is directly involved with this project, which is a very good thing, because if you give someone an IP and just let them go crazy with it, it could be a lot different than how you envision it. You want your IP to suit your audience, and I think that's exactly what Atlus wanted to do when this project got started. I think the characters and the persona designs of this game are very, very good, and especially this Velvet Antenna right here. Woo! I can't say much about it, but she got me feeling some sort of way right now. Now, another thing that I really do like about P5X is the overall presentation of the game. To me, the game really oozes Persona 5, from its graphics to its UI. Look, it looks like it was ripped directly from Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal. The visuals look sleek, and it looks very, very stylish, and does keep in tune with the Persona 5 style. If I may use the tired saying, it has a big Persona 5 vibe to it. It looks great. The game looks amazing for a mobile game, and I'm very excited about how it turned out visually. Now, another good thing about this game that comes to mind is that the Velvet Room itself is an aquarium, which I think it's a really cool idea. We've had different, it's been an elevator before, a limo, it's been a prison. Now we're going with an aquarium, which I really think is a cool aesthetic choice for the game. And even Igor being back, when you think of the Velvet Room, you think of Igor. And the fact that Igor's in the game really solidifies it as a really cool, Persona 5 spinoff. There's also going to be new music that has been confirmed by Lynn that's going to be in the game. Lynn's the voice of Persona 5, did all the vocal tracks for it. She has some really good music in Persona 5, really jazzy kind of things. And there's already been a couple of tracks that have leaked from P5X. I don't want to, have Atlus mad at me, so I'm not going to link them, but you can find them yourselves. But the music is awesome. It sounds exactly like Persona 5. To me, it gives out more of a Persona 5 Strikers vibe, but nonetheless, it's really good. And just overall, more Persona 5 content is always good in my eyes. Some people might think that's, Atlus is milking Persona 5 and riding on its coattails and everything, but to me, I can never get enough Persona 5. It's a great universe, great stories can be told, and there's always more characters to explore. So more Persona 5, cool with me. And one other thing that I want to go into, which kind of leads me into this next topic about the bad things as well. It's good and bad. Revisiting familiar areas. Of course, we've already seen some of the preview images, going to the park, hanging out with a social link, going fishing and everything. I mean, it all looks like familiar places that we've all explored during our time in Persona 5 and Persona 5 Strikers. So it really gives, a sense of nostalgia to me, because if you think about it, Persona 5 is how many years old? Like 5, 6 years old now. It's almost a sense of nostalgia and everything involved with seeing all these, areas again, all these familiar areas coming back in P5X. I think it's going to be a really good time. But another thing I want to talk about is the bad that I see, where my skepticism lies with P5X. And I don't want to sound too negative, and I know a lot of people say, he's just going to complain about the gacha mechanics. It's free, dumbasses. Get the fuck over it. I'm already seeing that in the chat right now. By the way, if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about my opinion so far. But we gotta discuss my skepticism and the bad vibes that come to me from Persona 5, the Phantom X. My first topic is revisiting those familiar areas. And you're going to be like, well, what the fuck are you talking about, King? I mean, you just said it was a good thing. Well, it could also be a bad thing as well. I see a lot of the same places and everything on the trailer, hanging out with your social links at the pond and everything, doing all these extra things with your social links, and just, even going fishing and everything like I mentioned. And it seems like the game is just revisiting Persona 5, and you're doing the exact same thing that you did in Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, hanging out with the social links in these exact areas. Now, I know there's going to be a new school and everything involved, but even that looked kind of similar and everything. It gets me thinking, maybe Persona 5X is just a retelling of the original Persona 5, or maybe it's just set in a different timeline. To me, if that's going to be the case, then I don't think the story will stick with me as much. I mean, like I said, more Persona 5 is always great, but if it's not like a direct sequel to P5 or even P5S, then you've already kind of lost me, because I'm not a fan of those what-if scenarios. I want a good story that takes place in this timeline. I want it to fit within this Persona 5 universe. I don't want to feel like my time's been wasted at the end of the day. If I'm going to be doing all these exact same things that I did in Persona 5 in this game and paying for it with this gacha system and microtransactions, which we will get to very soon, I'd rather just sit down and play Persona 5 Royal instead of playing a free-to-play game that, forces me to grind for hundreds of hours to explore its content. Speaking of free-to-play mobile game, that's one of my other bad things on this list. Persona 5, the Phantom X, is a free-to-play mobile game. Now, it's also going to be on PC as well, but it'll still have the same contents from the mobile game version, so the game was made with mobile in mind. Now, a free-to-play game, how's the developer going to make money and profit off of the game? It ain't by having a great story and great characters like Persona 5 did. It's not about that. Microtransactions and a gacha system for good measure. Microtransactions are a plague on video games. Now you pay $60 for a game like NBA 2K or Madden, and you're forced to, almost forced to pay for like virtual currency to level up your player. It's basically a pay to win thing. And I feel like Persona 5X could fall into that category. Now, some games get it better, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, for example. I've played hundreds of hours of that because I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. I don't play it because it's a phone game. I usually play it on my PS5 or my Switch, but it gives you enough tools and gems and resources that you don't have to do microtransactions. In fact, no, I haven't spent a dime on that, and it's been a great experience. I know people that haven't spent a dime on games like Genshin Impact and everything and have a great experience, but if really some of these games are pretty much pay to win, and it's just, I'm just not a fan of that. I think Persona 5X might fall into that category. It's a big wait and see moment for me, but who knows if we'll be able to wait and see, because my final point of my skepticism for this game goes into the fact that, like I said earlier, this game is by a Chinese developer, Perfect World Games. The game is exclusive to China right now, with no news of a Japanese or a Western release. Now, do I think this game will get a Western release? Absolutely. Feedback has already been expressed online, and if Perfect World Games and Atlas want to make as much money off this game as possible, They're not going to have it just sit in China and just let it rot in the servers within a year. I really think this game eventually will come to the Western audience, but right now the lack of communication, whether or not the game will even go to Japan where the game is set, whether or not it's going to be there or not, it's just a big question mark right now. I think it's a matter of when instead of if, but only time will tell right now. But I think it's best to keep our expectations low for this release, because like I said, it is a free-to-play mobile game. We don't know how much content is going to be in the game. The beta is just happening right now. Who knows what could happen? You know, it looks like it's going to be a story-driven experience, but as far as, you know, the gacha mechanics, the pay-to-win system, we don't know how that's going to be, so I would keep your expectations in check. You can brag about how great the game looks at the end of the day, and, you know, how excited you are for it to see these, you know, the Phantom Thieves return and experience a new Persona 5 story, but we don't even know if it's going to be a new, quote-unquote, new story yet. So keep your expectations in check. Thank you all for joining this video today. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more Atlas content. I'll see you in the next video. King out.